Hey, what's up guys? Jordan Anderson here from tommysTV. We are gonna switch it up a little bit. We wanna reach out to you filmmakers out there because maybe they have questions about what kind of gear we're using, why we're using it, and also what we think about it. So today we're gonna review the DJI Osmo. So the problem we were facing before we bought this thing is we were about to be on the road for 10 days. We were gonna go to 4 different cities. We had very little time. Sometimes our shoot days were 2 days long, sometimes they were only 3 hours long. So we needed something that was gonna deliver a solid gimbal system, solid steady shot. We kind of wanted a behind the scenes camera that was easy to use, that even our producers or sound guys could pick it up and not have to worry about dialing in the ISO, getting the aperture right, getting the focus right. Something that was just, you turn it on, you press record, and you're getting a nice steady shot, and it looks good. So this is a low profile gimbal system. We normally do sort of documentary style work, whether it is a documentary or it's a commercial in a documentary style. So oftentimes we're working with non-actors, and to set up this big steady cam or to get the gimbal out or get like a Ronin out and balance it all the time, and then proceed to follow a subject or get right in their face with it can be overwhelming for some subjects, and that can like kind of throw off your shot a lot of times. So we were looking for something that was small, compact, non-intrusive, but still pulled off that steady cam gimbal shot. We needed something that was able to deliver a decent web image. We weren't looking for a TV image, we weren't looking for film, we were looking for something that, once you compress it down, upload it to Vimeo, upload it to YouTube, that it looks pretty good. So we did a GlideCam Blackmagic test versus this thing, and after we did the test, we uploaded it to Vimeo, did some side-by-side comparison, and we realized that this thing can keep up pretty well. Keep in mind that this is a really wide angle. This was like on a 35mm sensor. This is a 20mm lens. We're talking almost fisheye. It's that wide. So if you want to do building shots, it looks great, but if you want to do close-ups on people, then you're gonna have to get very close, like uncomfortably close. This setup is a lot simpler than a gimbal or a Steadicam. There's no balancing. There's no calibration really. It's just you kind of, once you get it calibrated, you turn it on, it's ready to go. This is not a replacement for the Ronin. I just want to give that disclaimer. So let's dive into the camera of the DJI Osmo. This is on the X3 here. You can actually remove this and upgrade. It comes with the X3, which is the base level version. The Osmo shoots in 4K at 24p. It looks great if you take 4K and compress it down to 1080 and output that. So when we were online looking at this thing, the big selling point of this was that it could do 120 frames, which is great because that kind of matches up with our other cameras that can do 120 frames. We're thinking, yeah, we've got a Steadicam that can do awesome slow motion. Not quite. The 120, it crops in the sensor even further, and it looks really muddled. It's not a very good image. We were able to do 1080p 60 frames per second, which looked pretty good. 60 frames, that's just 2.5 times slower, which isn't super slow-mo. We were still able to get that slow motion effect, but again, don't buy this for 120 frames per second. You're gonna be disappointed. So this camera is very user-friendly. If you wanna switch it over to automatic mode, you're not very familiar with the camera settings, ISO, white balance, knock yourself out. You're gonna get a fairly decent image. You're gonna run into some troubled spots at times. For you filmmakers out there, I would switch it over to manual mode because you're able to control color temperature, ISO, shutter speed. Since it's a gimbal, you wanna apply all the Steadicam and gimbal walking techniques of this, so heel to toe, walking very smoothly. The Osmo doesn't have a Z-axis, so there's gonna be a bounce a little bit sometimes with your shot, so you just have to really kind of overcompensate with your bouncing a little bit. If you're following a subject, it's not very noticeable, but if you are sort of just in that classic walking down the hall, Stanley Kubrick shot, you're gonna see a little bit of bounce. I'd say unless you're at a full sprint, it's hard to mess this shot up. If you're just walking smoothly, the shots are gonna look great. Let's talk about power. For this, it uses a fairly decent battery. We got about 40 to 50 minutes of power out of it. In order to view your image, you have to open up the DJI app, and the Osmo will send a Wi-Fi signal to your phone. You pick that up, and you're able to view your screen. Obviously, using Wi-Fi and viewing your screen and doing playback is going to drain your battery even more. If you're kind of fully using the phone and the Osmo at the same time, you may be looking at like 20 to 25 minutes of power. I would recommend buying a second battery, if not a third battery, if you're going on an all-day shoot. We ran into some issues where we were charging one battery and one battery that we were using was dying. So overall, the DJI Osmo exceeded our expectations. We thought this was going to be some rinky-dink, just a little vlog behind the scenes camera, and we ended up using this for a majority of our shots on a project. If we'd have done it a little differently, we'd upgrade to the X5, which I think we will eventually, because you get a better dynamic range, a better image. So it's sort of it's a micro four third sensor, so it's a larger sensor, better image quality, better low light capabilities. Again, it's not a replacement for the Ronin or a Steadicam, but you can get pretty close with this one. So that is our review on the DJI Osmo. So my name is Jordan Anderson from tommysTV, and we'll see you next time.